call the Oliver Springs City Council meeting December 7th to order. Roll call, Joe.
Robert Miller.
Here.
Jeff Bass. Kenny Brown.
Here.
Teresa Van Hook.
Here.
Terry Holland.
Here.
Have a quorum, Mr. Mayor.
Would you lead us in prayer, Mr. Chairman?
With great personal sadness and corporate sadness on behalf of the mayor and town council and city employees, we recognize that our councilman, our brother, James Brummett, passed away 2 days ago on December the 5th after a long illness. He served many years on town council, served as vice mayor, was serving as vice mayor when he passed away. He also served on the Rowan County Commission and was the chairman of the Rowan County Commission for several years. He had an insurance business, very active in the community, a great citizen, left a fine family of children and grandchildren, and a widow Susan. On behalf of the town and its citizens, we offer our condolences to the Brummett family, and we will offer our opening prayer. Our Father, we approach thy throne and we thank you for James, his many years of public service and his years as a husband and a father and a grandfather, a citizen, all that he accomplished. We pray that you would offer peace and comfort to his family, help them to understand and see the things that he accomplished on your behalf through your will, the things that are left to accomplish that we, in seeking your face, will join you and accomplish your work. We pray for these men and women on council and our citizens and our workers, our first responders and the military. There's many things in our world that's difficult to understand, and we pray that you would give us wisdom and peace and security and safety as we serve you in this world. This Christmas season, we pray that you would offer peace on earth and goodwill and understanding to those who believe. We pray once again for your coming. Come, Lord Jesus. We ask all these things in thy Son's name. Amen.
Amen. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of minutes from the November 16th meeting. Do we have a motion? We have a motion to approve the minutes. We have a motion. We have a second.
Who made the motion?
Got it. Mr. Hall.
We just got that other page
Right,
raising
we
or
did.
delay.
Correct, yes.
Would it be improper to defer that to the next meeting?
Yes,
Let
or
us
you
read
can take it
these.
up after new business with the idea of, I'll put it in the proper place in the minutes. The motion failed to elect a second. We'll take it up at the next meeting.
I would prefer that we have time to read it.
It's fine with me. So we don't have a second. Motion fails, and we will pick it up at the next meeting on December the 21st. At this time, is there any delegations from citizens? If so, please come forward and state your name.
All right, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
This is Dr. Mary Chase, and as you all have known, I was born and raised in the town, and my father practiced medicine until 1985 when he retired. And I'm not ashamed to say I'm 71 years old, and I'm slowing down. And I'm proud to announce that I have leased my law office building at 1042 East Tri-County Boulevard to Dr. Mary Chase of Fox Chase Optometry. Now, I'm not quitting. I've actually leased the old Union People's Bank building from the Harvey Furniture Company family, and I will be moving down there within the next several days, and Dr. Chase will occupy the 1042 East Tri-County Boulevard building effective January the 1st. So it's certainly a change for me after 45 years of practicing law here in Oliver Springs. But I have learned that as time goes on, you don't have the get up and go you once had. You might say a good portion of my get up and go has got up and went. So I have to slow down, and honestly, I'm thrilled. I think the good Lord put us together. And so I'll introduce Dr. Chase and let her state about her new adventure in a new location.
Thank you, Mr. Van Hook. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to grow, and to the community and all of our patients. We're just really excited to have more room and keep growing our clinic and our practice. And we're going to be taking over his building starting January 1st at 1042, and we'll be closed for a week to do some painting and remodeling a little bit, and then reopen on January 8th. So we're excited for everybody to come and see the practice, and we'll be having a big open house celebration February 9th and 10th, and appreciating our patients, and appreciating again Mr. Van Hook for giving us the opportunity to grow.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the time.
Mayor's update at this time. You know, I've had the honor to serve with Mr. Brummett for several years as mayor and city councilman, and the man was not a politician. He was a true statesman, and as I stood by his side a couple of days ago, I whispered to him, I hope I can be the statesman that he was. And I hope that I can honor his legacy and lead the town that he loves. And I think of, if you know me very well, you know that I love poetry and poems. And I think of one, the empty chair. Time cannot heal the emptiness or fill the empty chair. That one, the one that's in the family room, I see it empty there. Or the chair that's at the table where together we would dine. Although I sit there still, the only hands that pray are mine. Still I give thanks to God each day. I pray this prayer comes true. You save an empty chair for me when I come home to you. Mr. Brummett, well served, sir, that good and faithful servant. So, I want to just recognize the high school football team. Fourth round of the playoffs, second time in school history. That's incredible. It was a great game. South Pittsburgh ultimately got the upper hand on us, but they did end up winning the state championship. So we were one game away, and next year, excited about the town or the school. Hopefully, they'll do very well again next year. And I don't know if y'all noticed the paw prints on the road leading into the school. The city served them the pregame meal, and so I appreciate everything that the town did to honor them and their season. Fall cleanup, Corey. Fall cleanup is really kind of over, but if you still have anything, should we let?
Yeah, probably for the next few days.
Yeah, for the next few days. So parade is December the 16th, is that correct?
Correct.
So if you want to last minute, get you a spot the last minute, call Wendy at City Hall. Last thing that I'll say is this. Obviously, people see the picnics that we placed by the creek. And a lot of questions have arisen, like why would the city spend money on that? The city hadn't spent a dime or dollar on that. TDOT gave us a grant for the byways, and so we have plans, both short-term and long-term, working with TDOT about parking, working with the University of Tennessee and hopefully making a hiking trail or hiking trails. So this was just the first step, right? So if anybody wants to be a naysayer, be a naysayer. All I'm going to say is this. I own, run, and operate a successful business. I am fiscally responsible. I will not, unequivocally will not, put this town in a position of financial constraint or restraint. I will not allow money to be spent frivolously, ever how you want to say the word. Just like yesterday, I donated my crew's time to address 2 trees that saved the city about $1,800. That's who I am. That's what I do. Okay? And so what you may think is petty, you just know that it was free. And it's the first step in a series of steps to get us to where we want to be. And that is, it's a destination, just like the natural spring out here. We're talking about doing a spring house. But it's not going to cost the city anything. If we can get a grant for it, then we're going to do it. Hello? And again. And, so that's all I'm going to say about that. I love my town. I love serving my town. And we will continue to do so. At this time, Corey, it's up to you.
Again, the Olive Springs Christmas Parade, Saturday, December 16th. Lineup begins at 5 p.m. the high school parking lot. If there's any overflow, it will go into Arrowhead Park. The parade will start at 6 p.m. Currently, Town of Olive Springs and the Water Department will be providing gifts for the kids that live over in the Olive Springs Housing Authority. We're accepting donations until December the 15th. Either cash or check made out to the Town of Olive Springs. Under the note, just put toy drive or new toys or gifts. We currently have 66 kids over there aged infant to 17. So if you'd like to donate to that, either see myself or Lisa in the water office. One thing that I probably need to bring you to council's attention, Finance Director Ramona Warple notified me on October 24th that she was retiring. Her last day would be January 31st. Now, the reason I've not told you is I was kind of waiting back to hear from her to see if that's what she was going to do. I've not talked to her since. So I contacted Tyler Davis on October 27th about the procedures to fill that position. Your charter and code allows the council to appoint someone to fill Ramona's position effective on her retirement date. That person needs to meet the same basic qualifications as a board member and the mayor, i.e. town citizens, for at least 6 months beforehand. That person will serve as finance officer until next August, when they would have to run in a general election. If elected, they would be on a 4-year term. Ramona's been with this town for over 25 years, so whatever we do, we'll make sure she's taken care of and honored with some type of retirement gift or party. 2, letter that you have, the lawsuit against Town of Olive Springs has been settled. Town of Olive Springs has been released and discharged of all compensatory and punitive damage effective November the 9th, 2023. You have that copy of that letter. I would keep that confidential as well. Street Department, paved Sleepy Hollow and Cedar Lane this week. Also hit potholes on Hannah Drive and Valley Drive. Remaining paving jobs are Garden Avenue and 2nd Norway. That's scheduled for next Wednesday, December the 13th. We've been getting the E-Mix asphalt from Duracat Lenore City. We do have an account set up over there now, so going forward, our plan is to start paving on Wednesdays until everything is complete. That kind of gives us time to go ahead and do a lot of the other things. And that is all I have at this moment.
Thank you, Corey. Mr. Miller.
I have nothing this time, sir.
Mr. Brown.
Nothing. I know that the pickup workers did real good. I appreciate them. They went out of their way to pick up stuff. And hats off to them. Also the Brummett family. My condolences go out to them. And kind of quaint.
You and James graduated together, didn't you? Or you?
I think he's a year ahead of me.
Okay.
A year ahead of me, but we were the same age. But one of his daughters was a real good friend, and her husband was real good friends of mine. My condolences go out to the Brummett family. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Ms. Van Hook?
I too express my condolences to the Brummett family. They were a wonderful family. Also, I wanted to ask, and I guess since Chief is not here, I'll have to ask you, Corey, if you know how things are going on the repairs down at the police department.
They have been completed, I do know that. Contractors, I think, finished up maybe second week of November. Glenn Cover and his office have done the inspection. Everything's up to code now, so everything should be fine.
So we're good with where we are
Everything should
for
be
now?
good, yes.
Okay. The other thing was, I wanted to commend the street crew for putting up the Christmas lights. Everything looks really pretty out there. So appreciate them. That's all.
Thank you, Ms. Van Hook. Mr. Holland?
Ramona's office, is that August the 24th?
Yeah, that would be January 31st of 2024.
What, no, it was the election.
The election would be,
Probably be the
think it's
first
August.
Thursday of August,
I think it's August.
Of 24?
Yes,
I couldn't
correct.
tell. It's-
August of 2024.
Yes.
Yeah, her term, if she were to stay, would be August of 26, correct?
First month.
I'm not sure about that.
Because she was just elected last.
She
I was
has a
elected
4-year term that is equal to the term of the circuit court clerks and the criminal court clerks
Right.
in the counties. And I want to say that she and I ran together in the last election, which I guess was a year and a half ago. So in August, that'll be the second anniversary, so I'd say maybe there's 2 years left in the term.
Yeah, yeah.
So whoever runs in August would fill a 2-year term and have to stand again in 26.
Yeah, and whoever serves in her position also has to go to the school put forth by the Department
State, yeah.
of Treasury or somebody, that she has to become a certified financial management officer. There's some title, but she's got, whoever gets that has so many months to accomplish that. Otherwise, the town will not be eligible for grants.
Correct.
Ms. Walker completed that several years ago.
So I'm going to start in January with that, but whoever you do put in there probably needs to do that as well.
Yeah, well, they'll have to.
Yeah, they have to.
How long does that take, you know?
It's a year.
They offer classes periodically. I'm not sure quarterly or
It's
semi-annually.
12 months. One class a month.
Okay. And they have to go somewhere too, don't they, and take it, so they'll be leaving City Hall and maybe going to Nashville or Knoxville.
At least Knoxville.
Knoxville.
Yeah.
Don't that leave you one short too? Does she have to be in court with you?
Yeah, she's my court clerk, and so when I hold court, she'll be here.
Or does it have to get somebody to fill that position too?
Well, whoever's the finance officer is the court clerk, because they have 2 hats.
Dual role, correct.
Does that mean you can't hold court then?
Now, I can hold court because he'll be a deputy.
Okay, well, I'm just wondering, because with your situation, she has to be there. Okay, well, it's a hard blow right now for us, I'll tell you that.
Anything else, Mr. Holland?
Also, the picnic tables on Winter Rock Road, there's plans to make parking for it.
Yes.
Look, I had several people ask me, where are you going to park?
Yeah.
So that's good, there's a
We're working on
plan.
that.
We're working on it. We asked TDOT about what we could fill in, what they would allow us to fill in, and so we're working through all the ins and outs of that, so. Or you can park down by the bridge to the maintenance and walk down, or, you could do that theoretically right now, but we're working on parking. So, and working on a possible trail up to the cross, versus going straight up the mountain, coming up and over. So there's also a natural spring on the side of that mountain as well, that comes out. So we're thinking, there's a lot of ideas, nothing really set in stone. I digress. So,
Be good for a slide, but I would be.
for sure. Right into the creek.
Be a big splash.
And I guess I got one last, I guess like a neighborhood thing. Some people like cats, some people don't. But I've had a friend that lost a cat they were trying to find in their endeavor to locate it. We heard a case where, or two cases where people would walk up to the cat and just pick it up and take it home. You know, so not thinking you picked up somebody's cat. And we heard two cases of that where they just pick it up and take off. So everybody keep in mind that might be somebody's cat.
For sure.
Message of the day.
Yep.
That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Holland. Chief Laxton had a prior commitment this evening at the DAV, so I think he had to leave for that. And in his spot, real quick, speaking of when you said splash pad, you said splash pad, made me think of this. Something that we're going to work diligently on next year is a splash pad for this town, for our kids. It would be something that would not cost the city anything. I'm going to commit myself and Corey to fundraising with local business owners. I'll take lead on it, trust me, don't worry. I've already been talking to business leaders about donating the money for a splash pad for kids. And I really hope that 2024, I think we'll have the land donated to the city. I feel very confident that it will. And then I also feel very confident that we will be able to, hopefully by 2025, have something really set in place. That'll be something special. Secondly, I'll say this, I wasn't aware, I knew that I felt burdened by this, and so I asked the principal at the school, Mr. Branham, about, are there hungry children in the schools? Like when they go home at the end of the day, and so it was really based on what Mrs. Hepler, Chris Hepler.
Hepler's fine.
I apologize.
No, that's fine.
Brain.
Hitler Fox.
Mrs. Fox. Your idea with the blessing boxes, so it would be in a school setting, right? And so I had approached Mr. Branham about that, and so we're going to, myself, privately, personally, along with Beach Park Baptist Church, we'll be setting up a food distribution center in OS Academy to meet the hunger needs of our children, right? So when I say I love my town, we need to do better, we will do better, we'll continue to meet needs and continue to see our kids hopefully succeed, right? And to know that we love them, we care for them, they're our future. So all that being said, Bailey.
No, you just want the money.
I'll tell you anything. You know where I'm going with that.
I know exactly where you're going.
Oh.
Been down that road.
Yeah, so, gave you guys the December report for us, reflective last month. You guys got any questions on that? One minor mistake I made, apparently I'm not very computer savvy. There was no issues with Rescue 2. That was actually supposed to say no comment or nothing to report on apparatus on that one. So, on to the money.
How are the radios working?
So the radios are not completely in service yet. So to give you a report on that, our 5 mobile radios that were purchased last year are scheduled to finally be installed next week. So as soon as those go in service, all the radios have been issued to our guys that are local. I've got a couple that'll be reserved at the station for some that'll be coming in that respond when they can. But they'll go in service hopefully before January 1st. That'll be the goal. If these radios get put in next week and Chief Laxton's got everything we need down there, they'll go in service. The way the system's going to work for us is very similar to Roane County Fire Rescue. With theirs, will be dispatched on our VHF system because that actually tones us out on our phones. And then we'll be talking on the Tennessee Valley system. which is the 7800 system that the PD is currently on. So I was in a meeting Monday on that as well, and we were throwing our support behind Anderson County as well for Anderson County as a whole to move up to the Tennessee Valley system. The reason being for that is because we'll get 3 additional tower sites, and that will put everybody within our 2 major counties of Rome County and Anderson County being on the same radio frequencies, so we'll have continuous radio contact. It'll be a big move for us in this area, so just kind of give you guys an update on that. The reporting system. I come to you guys, I think last year about this time, on the fact that ESO purchased emergency reporting, which is our current reporting system vendor. We didn't know what that was going to look like. Up to that point, we knew where it was kind of going, as in they was going to be phasing out emergency reporting and moving everybody to their system. Me personally, I don't like being forced into a reporting system without seeing what other vendors are there. Mr. Miller was on the fire department when we went through that with a previous vendor, and it was not very welcoming on that part, because we're being forced into something that may not fit us. So around February, I put out an RFP to all the reporting vendors for fire departments. There was roughly 7 emails sent out and contacts with vendors made. 3 vendors decided that they wanted to submit a proposal. ESO, being the vendor that bought out emergency reporting, First Due, and EPR Systems. All of them submitted proposals back. What I am requesting for you guys see my report. I know that unfortunately it didn't get put into your hands till just a little bit ago. We went through, we evaluated all 3 systems. We tried to come back and see what fit us the best and what looks like it will be able to fit us in the future. So First Due was the unanimous vote by the 4 people that was looking at the system. 2 officers and 2 firefighters were looking at the systems. They met with the vendors, they looked at the vendors, they see if the vendors was going to meet our current needs, plus what we foresee coming up in the future. And First Due come back, the prices that come back, there's always that First Due total price, which is they're moving everything over fee, and that pays for the entire first year. That's $6,700 for First Due. It is a little bit pricier than ESO Solutions, because ESO Solutions is like, hey, you're already on our system, we'll give you some discounts to continue with us. Where it started kind of getting really close with each other was $90 more. We actually met a system that does more for us. And the one thing that is not included in this price right now that we would love to see us use in the future is that First Due has a Community Connect program. In other words, we have a website through them that's Oliver Springs Fire Department. The community is able to click in, request smoke detectors, request burn permits, request information from the department, submit information to the department so that we have access to it as well. But what I'm requesting, like I said, is to go ahead and sign a contract with First Due and try to get moved over to their system. Unfortunately, what kind of sped this up, I was tabling it. What sped it up was ESO is now saying, hey, you need to move up to our system. They're killing the emergency reporting system. So it's going to leave us without a reporting system. I can take questions on this.
How soon are they going to make that adjustment?
I got the email a month ago. It was.
They give you a date?
It was hold, no date. It was, here's your new contract, please contact us.
You're seeing $3,000 a year? Am I looking at the wrong page?
What it was a budget impact of $3,000 over our current system. Our current system's reporting system's price was locked in 2015. So we've been in the same price cap since 2015. And over, 7 years, prices went up $3,000 a year.
Was that 6,700?
Yes, sir.
And that reoccurring charge, that 62, what is that now?
That's recurring charge, that's our monthly, way it'll be divided up, it's over months. So it's a monthly payment to use the ERS reporting system.
So this not one time, monthly deal you're talking about?
No. So it's 6,700 for the first year, 6,200 for this, every year after.
Okay.
And then that's usually divided up in monthly payments.
The 6,700 is too?
No.
It's gotta be up.
Yeah, I think it's up front. I can clarify, but
Okay.
And that's the system you recommend?
yes.
And we're currently paying how much?
Currently, we're paying $256 a month for our current reporting system.
So $3,072 a year. So,
Have we got this money?
I do have this money in our budget. What it'll do is the reporting system we're currently on, we would move away from it so that bill would no longer be there. It would just be the budget impact of $3,000. I would have to move some money around within line items, but we could make it work.
Court?
Yeah, going forward too, I mean, that's $6,200 over 12 months, I mean, that's something you can make up. I'm not worried about that going forward.
So do we have a motion to accept?
What did you say the upfront fee was, Justin?
Upfront, $6,700.
That'll pay up for a year, right?
Yeah. And the way they submitted their bid is, it's all divided up line items. The part that I have highlighted is what we currently use within our current system.
With everything we want to add, we got to pay a fee for.
Yes, very similar to what I currently have. If I wanted to add certain things, it's a fee, and then you have it for the year, and then or for that year, and then they just add it in on their monthly payment.
Is there anything else you feel like that you really need?
The only thing that I say that we add in the future, I don't want it right now, because trying to get all of it implemented at the same time would be
A headache.
a headache. First thing is the Community Connect, and that would be something I would probably come to you guys next year on. And that's just
If we pay this yearly, do they give us a discount?
I can ask them. I can ask them on that.
To be honest.
That way we can budget it in to pay it.
Yeah, I'd rather pay it this
Once a
time of year
year.
anyway,
Yeah.
because this is the time of year that I start using my budget.
You say next year, it's next month.
Well, I'm talking about in the future, yeah.
You're not gonna come back January with something.
I can't promise that. I try not to.
After the 6,700, the rest of it'll be on a monthly payment.
That's 6,200.
Yeah, 6,200.
And that,
Unless-
we wouldn't see that till next year.
Right. It would be next December.
Yeah.
Unless Justin calls them and says, hey, if we pay it all at one time, would you give us a discount? And they say, yeah, sure, 10% off or something. All right, so do we have a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion second, any further discussion? Roll call, Joe?
Robert Miller,
Yes, sir.
Kenny Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Van Hook,
Yes.
Aaron Allen.
Yes.
Pass.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Any old business? New business. Discuss amending the short-term rental ordinance 2021-15-07. Corey.
All right, currently, this is your short-term rental ordinance. Last meeting, we talked about moving everything out of the city manager's office to the codes enforcement office and/or which would be under the police department. So everything, again, the notes on the top, everything highlighted orange, and this is just simply discussion tonight. We'll bring the amendment to this ordinance back to the next council meeting. We just need to discuss, make any changes to this right now. Highlighted orange, the first thing, grandfathered short-term rental unit. I recommend that we remove that wording from this ordinance. I'm not aware of any type of grandfathered short-term rental units in the town. If you don't have them now, you're not going to have them. Highlighted yellow is any wording that would change city manager to the codes enforcement office and/or police department. So if you look through page 2, section 20-2-103, no person or entity shall operate a short-term rental unit, include without limitation a grandfathered short-term rental unit, which will be removed unless a short-term rental unit has been first obtained from the city manager. Again, we want to change that wording to has first been obtained from codes enforcement office and/or police department. Again, going through page 3, section 20-2-105, certificate application. Applicants for a short-term rental unit permit shall submit an application to the office of city manager. Again, that would be moved to the office of codes enforcement office and/or police department. Highlighted orange under that would also remove that sentence relating to the grandfathered short-term rental units. Page 4. Again, remove wholly applicable to grandfathered short-term units. And the bottom, your application review. And here's the big thing of why we want to move that from the city manager's office to codes enforcement. Is your application review, and the big thing is the enforcement end of this as well.
I have something, Corey, that I want to get looked at.
Okay.
It's on that same page.
Okay.
It's up there under number 7, number 8. A minimum of 1 10 by 20 parking space per bedroom or sleeping space.
On 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what this is would be a description of the short-term rental unit areas, basically your definition of it. A minimum of 1 10 by 20 parking space per bedroom of sleeping space. Now, some problems that have arose from short-term rental units, Airbnbs, is parking on city streets. And you discussed last meeting about allowing Chief Laxton to designate certain streets as no parking or no street parking. So you've already taken action there. So he's putting a list together for you for that, to address that issue. Now, go ahead, what do we need to change there?
Earlier where it says there'll be no parking on the grass,
Yeah.
where it says vegetation, I think that is grass. You've got a couple that are parking. They don't have room to park on the street. There's not enough room to park all of them in the designated parking places, and they're pulling down in the yards and stuff and parking.
Okay.
I think the parking's gonna be a major issue that we need to contend with, because there's one over next to First Baptist Church too, and I don't think they're utilizing, I'm not sure there's enough parking space there for the unit.
Right.
That may be something we have to take up with these people who are owning these
Okay.
units, is that the parking has got to be adequate.
Now, with this being under the codes enforcement office, when they come in and sign up for the application, he will go out and inspect. this size, so this will be one of the things we want to make sure that he does follow up on.
Well, parking is gonna be a key element to these, and these owners need to understand that they've got to have adequate parking. And these people come in with these big trailers with, 6 of those things, all on them everywhere, which is fine, but there's gotta be adequate parking.
If you look at that sheet with all of them on here, I think there's 16, now 16, only 2 of them have a license.
I noticed that.
Mayor, they don't need to be parking in the alleys either.
I agree.
Yeah, 'cause that's still a thoroughfare.
A lot of them are, a lot of them don't have, like, there's several I know that's doing that, they don't even have a driveway. One of them's up to me. They're using that alley, blocking it, and they're using the church, like Ms. Patton said.
Yeah, that one, I don't even know who owns it, I could figure it out here, but, they need to do some serious paving or something.
Janice, one that got killed was the lady that owned that.
Yeah, Janice Newport.
Yeah.
So what you have there is your short-term rental list. Your first 7 is currently the ones that have information on. Now, since 2021, there's only been, really just one permit issued.
Yeah.
So what I would like to do is, whenever we enact this amendment on this ordinance, would we have codes enforcement send a letter out, giving these people, say, 30, 60 days to come in, sign up, fill out the application, apply for a permit.
Do we not have a penalty?
There is a penalty in here, and we can kind of go back to this. Page 4, application fee. Your current fee, permit application fee for owner-occupied short-term rental unit shall be, it's currently at $50. Permit application fee for all other non-owner occupied short-term rental units is also $50. Now, one other thing you need to address is on page 6, it's highlighted in red. Short-term rental unit annual fee. That has been left blank in your current ordinance. And that wording probably needs to be changed from annual fee, renewal fee, to a privilege tax. State's not too kind on renewal permits or permit fees. So I would recommend we change that wording from permit renewal fee to a privilege tax. And I've spoke with Judge Van Hook, if he's got any input on this as well. Please chime in.
I would probably consult with MTOS to see if the town council can impose a privilege tax. The General Assembly has delegated to the towns and the counties the taxes they can set. And I don't know if it can set a privilege tax on short-term rentals. It can have a fee, but I don't know about the tax.
And then the thing with the permits is the renewal fee. That's where they kind of frown upon that.
Well, you could have a permit for only 1 year and they got to renew it every year.
Yeah, but it has to do with that permit renewal. It's wordplay is all it is. So, but that's something we need to, obviously address. The other thing would be the highlighted blue. And this is what I've talked to the judge about on page 2. When they come in and fill out an application, right now your ordinance requires them to have a business license number.
A business license is not a license to do business. It's a misnomer. The business license is actually a receipt for the gross receipts tax. The General Assembly in Nashville, I think in maybe the 60s or early 70s, allowed cities and counties to have a gross receipts tax on certain businesses, generally that sell merchandise. Folks that offer services like doctors and lawyers and surveyors, banks in particular, accountants, and banks offer a lot of goods and services, but they pay other taxes. Their lobby was strong enough to get them excluded from this tax law. But anyway, it's on gross receipts, and generally speaking, in round numbers, if a business has $100,000 or $200,000 or less in gross receipts, they pay the minimum of $15. A business that would have a gross receipts of $1 million would pay around $1,000 to $2,000. So most of these bed and breakfasts probably would not generate over $100,000 or $200,000 in gross receipts, so they probably pay the minimum $15,000. Now, with that in mind, the statute sets out the businesses that can be taxed, and I haven't read the statute in several years, but I question whether or not a bed and breakfast would have to pay a gross receipts tax. It could very well, you know, kind of like a motel or hotel, but then again, it's a short-term rental. So to me, that'd be something that have to be researched. But keep in mind, if they don't pay the $15 minimum tax, it doesn't mean that we can go shut them down. It simply means they haven't paid the taxes. And the tax is enforced in the Tennessee Department of Revenue, just like if a company does not pay sales tax. And the gross receipts tax is not a huge moneymaker for the town either, as far as that goes. About 90% of the work was taken over by the Tennessee Department of Revenue about 10 years ago, I'm guessing.
So your easy thing there would just be removing that wording from that application, that requirement.
Yeah.
So we'll take this up in either the next meeting or January?
Yeah, like I said, just simply discussion of this tonight, read through this. I've highlighted the changes that need to be addressed. If there's anything else,
We need to
call me
take
or
action.
see me.
Where's this one here on Green Street? GWG Investment, under code violation, what is that at? 930 Green Street.
I think it's right before you get to the top of the hill, right?
So if you look at number 8 through 14, these are the ones that have been found on the Airbnb website.
Well, this is number 12.
Yeah.
It says under code violation, according to this.
Yeah.
Where is this located at now? Do you have any idea?
I'm not sure where that 930 is.
Here's what I do know. I know that we need to take action on it because there's a lot of revenue we're missing. A lot.
Do they not fall under the hotel motel?
They do.
So
That's correct.
all these that are renting and not paying their share of the hotel motel, can they not be penalized? And
They're doing it.
Well, the procedure you'd have to follow would be to determine whether the Tennessee Department of Revenue would audit them or whether the town of Oliver Springs would audit them. And either way, you've got a manpower consideration because the Department of Revenue will probably send its auditors to the taxpayers that have the biggest margins of revenue, where that the audit would hopefully recover the most amount of tax dollars. For example, if you spend 40 hours auditing one of these Airbnbs and get $100, and you spend 40 hours in Knoxville auditing somebody with sales tax and get $100,000, you know where TDOT will send the auditors because they only got a limited amount of auditors. The flip side of that, if the town has to audit it, then I would think the town would have to hire a CPA and pay those rates to go out and do the audit.
I mean, we get it off the campground.
We do. So through Airbnb or Vrbo, like through the website or apps that people use, it's automatic.
Yeah.
And then they just send it to us.
In that situation, the mayor's right.
And that's typically how most,
And that's where you're receiving your money right now.
right, and that's how most of these, not all, operate, is through Vrbo or Airbnb. And there's another one that popped up recently, I don't know what it's called. Yep, so. All right.
I got one more question.
Yes.
All right, one time, are we going to basically call these one name? You know, we got Airbnb, B&B, and bed and breakfast. Are they going to be different categories or all be considered short-term rental?
It should be. I mean, that short-term rental encompasses most of that.
But that would help. I'll read through it, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm losing track of what's.
Yeah.
Basically just short-term rental.
We'll leave them on
You can wrap it up in a short-term rental.
our minutes we gotta review as bed and breakfast instead of short.
We'll clean that up.
Yeah.
Item B, employee wage analysis.
Same thing we talked about during the last board meeting. The total money that we were trying to deviate raises from started $13 or $14 an hour. That's down to about $7. So plan was to have the raises in place December, January. I'll get back to you probably the January meeting with this. And I'll get the information out early enough for y'all to be able to review that.
So the bottom line is, we get a raise is where we come up with the money. It's crazy, there's no argument they need it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's no question about that.
And me and Corey had discussed that unilateral across the board raises, unless council, that's the way you all want to do it, we'll do it. I'm in favor of individual raises. Corey
Yeah, absolutely.
is in a harsh reality is there are certain people who work really hard and there are certain people who don't.
Mayor, we had set up one time when it's council performance evaluations,
Yeah.
and the raises were based off those performance evaluations.
Well, I'm in favor of renewing that.
I don't think it ever panned out, though.
I don't know, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty confident we have a city manager who's probably capable of doing that now.
This wasn't carried out.
So we spent some time on that.
We will revive it. So, I'm in favor. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Point of order, our next meeting is December 23rd. Do we wish to have a meeting?
No, it's the 21st.
21st?
Yes.
It's just up to you all.
I'm good if you are good. You tell me.
Christmas is on Monday, so.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Mr.
Is
Holland?
that a regular meeting?
Yeah,
Correctly scheduled, 21st.
21st. Mr. Brown, do you want to go or? I'm fine.
Is it right now you don't have any pressing like decisions that need to be made?
Okay, well, let's just go ahead and keep it. If something happens or something changes, we'll notify everybody and we'll resume in January. All those.
Robert Miller,
Here.
Jeff Bass, Kenny Brown,
Here.
Teresa Van Hook,
Here.
Harry Holland.
Here.
We have 5 out of 6, we have a quorum.
I think that's 4.
4 out of 6, yeah, I'm sorry.
All right, roll call. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes from the November 2nd meeting?
Make a motion.
Motion, we have a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, I've got a question. Mine's on the one sheet, like it's second sheet. This,
Should be front and back.
You had to go to the next page to find the water board minutes, Terry.
Well, but I'm not carry on everyone.
Yeah, mine just had one page.
Yeah.
She didn't went front and back.
yes, you didn't do the back.
You got that?
You want me to go on the back side?
Well, we haven't, I did say I.
It is-
what was
it's-
in there, like you said, the board was in there.
Oh, and the rest of it either.
It's, she just,
I don't think any of us have it.
Unless that was it already back here. Hang on.
and Joe, where you edit the other ones are the same way, the regular meetings.
Are the backs not on the regular?
Correct. Well, that'd be my next.
No, I did. It's 2 pages.
There's 2 pages front and back of the minutes.
But you know what, Joe? I don't think we do have all of the minutes for the regular meeting.
Let's see, it don't
We
say.
have the first 2 pages.
Well, the mayor can call a formal recess for 5 minutes and I'll copy them.
Just say,
Or I'll leave
don't
and
say
have
where
a
we
formal
had
recess.
the old business.
Right.
But it's still
You're
easy.
Just call recess, 5 minutes. There you go. Call the meeting back to order. So, do we need to go back and do the motion second to approve the minutes or?
No, probably not, because The motion was made and seconded to approve the minutes as presented.
In discussion?
Of course, I just presented a new copy.
Correct, okay. Do y'all have any questions or comments, concerns?
No, it was on a couple paragraphs.
I thought it was something like this. I was like, Teresa, I read the front, I just didn't even read the back.
Or what was there?
Yeah. All right, so no discussion? Roll call, Joe?
Bob Miller,
Yes.
Kenny Brown,
Yes.
Teresa Van Hook,
Pass.
Larry Holland,
Yes.
passed 3 to 0 to 1.
This time, are there any comments from water board customers? If so, front and center.
Yes, sir.
Just state your name and your address.
Michael Hicks, 145 Smith Road, been there since 1990. For the last 3 years, I have complained and complained and complained and had several work orders where the water department has come out and supposedly fixed a leak. Well, they never fixed the problem. For the last 3 years, they've been flooding my front yard with 4,445 gallons of water a year. So, the reason why they said they couldn't find it is because the water was so far leaking, going so far through the dirt and gravel that it wasn't testing positive for chlorine. Well, anyhow, I was over it. Got my lawnmower stuck several times. I used to be able to mow my whole yard with no problem, no issues. Anyhow, I got my lawnmower stuck so many times that I started paying a little boy across the street $50 every time I'd mow the weed eat, what I couldn't mow, that I had been able to mow. And then I got real sick of it after 3.5 years. Jeff Burum and everybody working for the water department come out there and they would fix a leak that wasn't the issue, because my service line that came from the main under the road was teed to go down and feed another meter that hadn't been in service for over 60 years. They kept repairing that line. The water leak was way back past that tee. Finally got Jason and Corey to come out there the day that I had paid Terry Duncan $300 to come put me a French drain in to get my front yard back. Started putting the French drain in, and my water meter was still holding over 2 foot of water. I said, come on past the meter. Let's find where this water is coming from. Once we found the problem, I called and got Corey and Jason. They came out there that day, and they estimated 10 gallons a minute had been coming out of that water line, service line, for 3.5 years. My wife's sitting here. Our yard was eat up with mosquitoes for the last 3 years. Last year, she paid $150 to a spraying company to come spray for mosquitoes and try to see what's going on. Can't stand it. Can't live there like that. So anyhow, all that said and done, Jason and Corey come out there that day and they had me a new service line put in from the main to my meter, got rid of the old line, which has now stopped the water flooding my front yard. Well, I don't feel like I would have ever had to have a French drain put in my front yard, which is costing me $300, plus I have a bill from Ace Hardware where the bill, water, 100 foot of 4-inch corrugated pipe was $120, plus the sleeve is $23 a row. And I really feel like that the water department or the city should fix my yard back to where it was, the way it was. I understand Terry Duncan did start the French drain, the pipe's laying there, but I feel like now that you all know what the issue was, and like I said, there's been 10 times that this water department in the last 3.5 years come out there and quote, quote, fix the problem. And I told them several times, because I work at Ace Hardware, everybody knows me, I'm not hiding, and oh, y'all didn't fix the problem, my yard's still flooded. It ain't our problem, you've had an underground spring pop up in your front yard. Okay, no way. So anyhow, I feel like the water department should have to pay Mr. Duncan his $300 or reimburse me my $300 that I've done paid this man. Here's his bill. And here's the bill from Ace Hardware where I've done purchased the pipe and paid for all that. I feel like my $423 should be reimbursed. And I feel like that you all should come out there with your little mini X and equipment and finish putting the trench drain in. Since it's already started, pipe's already there, give me some gravel, give me some fresh dry dirt, and then smooth out the mud that's there, drying out.
So let me just clarify something right now, and I clarify this with Mike. He has, for 3.5 years, called and complained, but not since I've been mayor, correct? You hadn't called?
Yeah.
Okay, when I was made aware of it though, was the day it got fixed.
Correct, sir.
So let me just, and we're continuing to try to refine and better our process. In other words, from the time a work order gets called in to implementation of that work order. And so from that standpoint, number one, I apologize to you that it took that long. But when I was made aware of it, the problem was fixed, and Corey, it was fixed immediately. And so where I personally stand on this, and I don't know what protocol here is, I don't know that I've ever seen this happen, but I would be in favor of granting Mike what he's had out of pocket. Maybe Corey could differ, I don't know, again, maybe there's precedents, you all have seen this before, I don't know. What do you think, Mr. Miller or Corey or Terry or
Well,
Teresa?
but you said 300 and you said 4 something.
Yeah, there was $120 for corrugated pipe.
300 plus 120.
Yeah, so, and 300 to Mr. Duncan for his.
Have we got the pipe in stock?
It's actually, he's already got the pipe.
I understand it, but do we have it?
I
Or
don't,
he could return us the pipe?
No, the city comes down to Ace and buys it when they need it.
yeah,
We don't keep them on that.
we don't,
We
yeah,
keep nothing in stock.
correct. Corey, you want to speak on the matter? Or?
Yeah, kind of what we talked about when I was out there, if I have to run that through my office, I have to turn that in the insurance and file a claim. And the odds on a claim,
What's the deductible?
I'm not sure about the deductible, but in 26 years, I've never saw a claim that has been granted on a water leak. So if you're gonna do something, you probably need to do something else and file it on the insurance. Because they will consider a water leak an act of God and they won't cover it.
That's on the city part, right?
Yeah, that's when you file an insurance claim.
That's not on my part when I file one, right? Okay.
No, that's just strictly when we have like a customer, in this case right here, who's had a leak, it's called property damage. I never saw them.
So this leak is on us?
Yes.
In the water line that runs across his property?
Yeah.
So the
The
water
line
line,
runs from probably the edge of the road to that meter is probably
10 feet.
it's probably closer to 25, 30 feet, probably.
but then the fact that it was spewing 4 million gallons a year,
There's some of our water that we've been looking for.
literally, because that's, I ran the numbers, and he's losing, it's like the water was literally going right through his front yard. You could see right where it was going, because I passed by his house multiple times every week going to my parents, and I saw the swamp, because I saw him get stuck, and I see him out there.
It's not
I don't mean to
funny.
laugh, man. You'd get animated from time to time, and so yeah,
Would you consider working that with us and reducing your water bill, or if ignoring, or doing away with your water bill until we get it the $400 back?
I don't think I can do that.
no,
I can do that legally.
sewer you can, water you can,
Yeah.
and he doesn't have sewer because he's in the county.
Was that a 1-inch service line?
2-inch.
A 2-inch service line?
Yes, sir.
Because it had a second meter off of it that wasn't not in use.
Where did the second one used to go to?
There was a 1/4 acre of my front yard that used to not belong to me that had a separate deed. And
Did they have a trailer sitting on it one time?
yes, sir, it did. And that was way back in the 50s or way back when Jack Etheridge and Kenneth Jett's parents were the original Jetts. And when it used to be an old tar and chip road back years ago, they all signed off for a lady to put a 65-foot trailer there and take care of her mom and dad across the street. Until they passed away, and then when she passed away, it was all moved out.
So do I understand that Mr. Duncan has already started this project?
He did. And that was actually Mr. Duncan who found the water leak for us.
Well, I think the best thing to do is let Mr. Duncan finish the project.
He said for the $300, he would smooth that dirt back out, but I feel like that y'all need to pay me my money and give me a little bit of riffraff gravel to put in that French drain since it's already started. That way, if anything ever happens again as a leak like that, my yard will not flood out like that again. It already had the pipe in the ground and ready to go if it needed to be.
How much labor has Mr. Duncan had in it up to now? He's not finished, right?
Probably a couple hours, two hours.
It was a set price at $300 even. Then that's to come and put it in and cover it up.
Yeah.
And he does this kind of work, he's reputable in this type of work.
Yes, he's a good guy.
He has Dunco Construction Company,
Yeah.
and he does work everywhere, and
I would
It's very
say
well
let
known.
Mr. Duncan finish the job that he's already started, rather than we take over.
I would be very leery of sending city crews out on
Well, we
property.
can't send people out on private property.
Yeah.
True, we can.
like I said, I understand that, and I used to work for the city for 12 years, back with Troy Bernie and Timmy Tuggle, and Ed Kelly was the mayor back then and everything else, and Ken Beach, J.D. Hall. I worked with them all.
Now, you said that you already stopped the leak.
Yes.
They did.
We did. We did.
We stopped
Put up a
it.
new service line there.
About 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago now,
So
total.
it's been a little while.
Yeah,
And the leak is stopped, and you're not
Yes.
having.
No, my yard is slowly but surely drying out now.
What he's asking for is $423 to reimburse him for
Correct.
the stuff he had to do that he shouldn't have had to have done.
right. And I don't know the legalities of that. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, the legalities is that he is basically making a claim that the city did not promptly and efficiently locate the water leak. Because of that, it caused damage to his land.
Right.
The flip side of that is the city went out repeatedly trying to find it, and they weren't able to find it. And see, the question becomes, would the actions of the city in not finding the leak be due diligence where they were not negligent because it was so difficult to find? Or in the alternative, would that be negligence of the city in not finding it for various reasons? And see, I don't know enough about water leaks and whatnot like that to say one way or the other, but I'm framing the issue for this board. And if the board wishes to turn it to an insurance company and let them deal with it, I don't know what will happen. Our city manager says he'll turn it down because it's an act of God. So he'll either have to come back to the water board for a payment, or the water board will say no, and he is out $423 and whatever else. In the alternative, the water board could take the position to settle the claim and pay him the money as an act of goodwill and not necessarily admit liability, but just simply say, we want to take this, do this, and be fair and reasonable. So to me, that's a decision that y'all would make. But at the same time, if the city paid him the money, I think the city attorney would prepare a full release that he would have to sign, because apparently now the leak's been fixed and his yard ought to dry up in due course of time.
That's pictures that I took.
So basically, you're asking for gravel, and that's all you're asking us for, and to make you whole on the bill.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not sure the city could send equipment out and work on his private property, but at the same time, if we had a pile of gravel over there and we could let him come and get a load of gravel or take a load of gravel out there and dump it for him, and let him put it in the ditch, his French drain, that wouldn't be the end of the world probably. But that would be just your all's decision as an executive body. That's what you get paid $35 a month for.
We got a raise, it's 40.
That's all right.
Well, I think we need to make him whole. I mean, it's obviously, he's made every effort to try to get the problem resolved. And it's not his fault the problem wasn't resolved, and everybody's making a good faith effort to correct this, so I make the motion that we pay, that you go ahead and finish your job with Dunco, and that we will reimburse for those expenses for the $423, the amount that you've asked for there. And I also make the motion that we deliver the gravel necessary to help him finish his project.
Thank you.
That gravel not included in the Duncan deal, right?
No,
No.
sir.
No, it was
Just the free drain.
yeah. And the dirt back the way it was.
Will he consider putting the gravel down too?
Yeah, he said if you dump it gravel in a pile there, he would put it in the hole.
That's the easiest way
Yeah.
to solve this problem.
Now, is this something you want right now?
Trick question.
How soon can Mr. Duncan finish your job?
As soon as the gravel's dumped there.
Okay, that answers that.
Okay.
All right, I make that motion.
What will you have to?
Yeah, I can work with him going forward now.
And
Okay.
he would sign a release too.
Yes.
I'll second it. So a motion, a second, any further discussion?
So this is, we're not admitting the negligence here,
Well,
right?
Judge said he would sign a release that you're satisfied with our effort
Yes, ma'am.
to make you whole.
Yes, I will.
Okay.
And now you got a brand new service all the way to the meter too, don't you?
He does.
Yes, I do.
So you'll be,
They disconnected that second line to the old,
Yeah, pretty
to
sure.
the other meter.
I'm not sure about that, I left before
No.
they.
They did not terminate the old line, they capped it.
They did.
Well, we can terminate it, I mean, we can have them dig it up if you
The
want.
reason, sorry,
No.
the reason why they did not mess with the old line at all is because back when Don Jones lived across the street from me, he had Anderson County come put in a culvert in front of his driveway, which is over top of the 2-inch main, and they couldn't get to my old service line.
Oh, okay.
So they had to move my service line like 15, 20 feet down to where they wasn't hitting that culvert no more to get to the service line.
So did they DC that old line off the main line?
I'm not sure about, I'll find all that out.
If we didn't, we need to.
we need to fix this problem.
So if we don't, and something happens there, he'll be right back in the same boat again.
Yeah. We'll get with Jay just as soon as the meeting's over and find out.
Thank you all so very much.
Well, we haven't voted yet.
Yeah. Motion and
Let
second.
me get a copy of those invoices while we've got those.
So, motion and second. Discussion, any further discussion? Roll call, Joe.
Robert Miller,
Yes, sir.
Kenny Brown,
Yes.
Teresa Van Hook.
Yes.
Terry Holland.
Yes.
Passed.
There you go, Mr. Miller. Mr. Hicks, there you go.
Thank you all so very much.
Sorry we had to talk.
Mayor update, I'll go as just as quickly as I can. Unfortunately, we kind of fell back a little bit on our water loss. We were about 61%, right now we're about 64%. We kind of attribute that to the fact that holidays,
Thank you all.
you're welcome. Holidays, a couple of vacations also took place during that time, and so we were understaffed. And all that being said, I know the guys the last 2 or 3 days, 3 or 4 days have really been stepping up this week, trying to make sure that we're addressing water leaks in a timely fashion. So that's about all I have. Corey.
Water plant, all November state reports were submitted to the state on December the 7th. There were no violations. Kind of effects from the mild drought conditions. Your water plant's rated about 700 gallons a minute. Over the summer, we were pumping upwards of 800 gallons a minute through that pump, through that plant. State's aware of that, why we were doing it. currently, we've had to cut back to about 690, 700 gallons a minute, because once we go to 710 gallon a minute, turbidity starts to rise. That's because that springs get so low. So, next 3 months winter pattern looks like it's going to be, I guess, slightly above average precipitation, so we should be fine from here on out. The water loss, again, 63.9%. If you look at your handouts, it'll be the three together. For November 2023, we made, again, where we've cut the water plant back, we only pumped out 27.282 million. The water purchased has increased, this is your water purchase from Anderson County, to 7.78. Now, if you go back and look your past 3 months, your total water pumped and purchased was about 35 or 36 million gallons per month. Changes we've made, again with the purchase, you're about 34, 35 million right there. So I mean, we've cut it back about 1 million gallons there. The water sold was down 7.1 million. Here's the one thing that kind of saved us right here. The water sold back to Anderson County at Woodcutters and Highway 330. You usually average about 250, 260,000 gallons per month. This past month, we sold 901,000 gallons back to Anderson County. So that's what brought that water loss from 60, at first 66% down to the 63.9. Still, your total water loss is 22 million gallons. Now, if you'll look at page 2, you keep hearing me talk about trending and projections and everything. Well, here's the numbers that I go off of right here. So if you look, November 2023, we should be about 59.2%. Again, your water sold was 7.11 million. Your water sold projected should have been about 8.741 million gallons. So you're about 1.6 million gallons off right there. And this is with the meters that you currently have. Once the new meters are installed, first week of January, you should probably see that number go over 10 million. Probably 10 to 10.2. So that's kind of where my projections come from. The third sheet, this is just your water sales and customer data sheet. Again, your water sold to customers, 7.11 million. Look at the bottom of that sheet. This is your dollar amount. Olive Springs customer water bill for November is $100,034.41. Your average customer bill is $45.20. Currently have 2,213 customers. Your average use per customer per month is about 3,213 gallons. That number should be about 3,950. So there again, I mean, you're losing a lot of water through your meters. No major equipment out of service at the water plant. Kind of upcoming water plant projects. Electric actuator valve replacement, $6,000 per valve. We have budgeted to do 2 valves per year for the next 3 years. Then we're looking at the carport cover on the high service pumps and the VFD control. You just installed $150,000 worth of equipment. We might ought to cover it up. So that, we looked at this probably about a year ago and decided not to do it. But carport, some type of cover on that, has cost about $2,000. Your distribution system, November, you fixed 19 service line leaks, 2 main line leaks. Kind of our problem areas the past month have been Midway Road, Valley Drive, Haven Road, Sycamore Lane, and Hensley Road. Again, your water loss 63.9%. So if you look back on your water loss sheets, we started in April about 78%. Next 3 months we cut it to 65, we've cut it down to 63. So if you look at your past 3 months, you've kind of plateaued at 63. So that tells us we need to move to phase 2. Phase 1 stopped working. So phase 2 would be hire a contractor to come in and start replacing service lines from the main to the meter. Now, right now we can afford about $6,000 to $8,000 a month doing this. I've already talked to 3 different contractors about doing this. They're all on board. What we'll do is run it through a force account where Olive Springs will pay for all the parts, materials, everything. We just pay for the labor. run it through a force account. You can pay some contractor weekly, bi-weekly, kind of however you want to do it. And by doing it that way, if you get in trouble next month, you can always stop that. So it's something you've got real control of going forward. Any questions about that? Your collection system, Jesse.
I was gonna ask you, when Cumberland did all their new service lines,
Yeah.
Corey, did y'all sub that out, you do them yourself?
Both. I've done a lot of, ourselves, which you were staffed. You had about eight distribution workers when you were doing that. And we done a lot of our own main line installations. But again, you're staffed to do that kind of thing, where you're not really here.
Yeah. How many you think we could do a month? Or contracted out, how many you think we could do a month?
You're probably looking somewhere between 40 and 60.
A month?
Yeah. Yeah. But you've got to start somewhere going forward. All the grant projects going forward will be for main line replacements, getting the old AC pipe out, your galvanized pipe out, and that's the projects we can't afford. A 6-inch PVC line installation project now is costing about $80, $85 a foot.
So what would it cost to replace the one on Ridgeview and bring it back down tied in the valley?
I've got that tied into the grant right now.
You do?
So,
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking, I think it's 1,000 foot. Okay, that'd probably be about $50,000, $60,000 job.
Job.
Yeah, contracted out. But that could be small enough that we could possibly do that in-house. Make a smaller line like that.
Right.
Yeah. Your collection system, your Joel Road Pump Station project update, about 55% complete. Platform and the steps have been poured, waiting on the steps secured to 5,000 PSI. Now, we did have an issue on December the 1st. Justin, on call, had a high alarm, went over there. We had a sewer overflow, about 3 to 5 gallons a minute. Total was probably 900 to 1,000 gallons. That was immediately reported to TDEC. The problem was the contractor's pump that they installed had failed to start. So the alarms went off, they worked like they were supposed to. Justin responded to it like he was supposed to, tried to contact me. He contacted the contractor. Pump reps come out about 2 a.m. They got that fixed. Everything's fine over there now, but again, that was immediately reported to TDEC.
So was that on contractor?
It will be on the contract, yeah, but, I mean, like I said,
State will
it's
see it on
reported,
notice.
yeah. But again, it's been reported. The collection system of the fog ordinance, that's your fats, oils, and grease. Daniel Parks, Scott Roberson, Justin Turpin, they've all been going around doing your grease trap inspections. This is for any business entity that serves food. So we'll be sitting down the next few weeks going through this ordinance, updating the ordinance, conducting inspections, and the main thing we've not done in the past is follow through with the enforcement end of this. So that's something we're going to pick up on there. Major equipment out of service is the inspection camera system. Again, your state requires you to inspect so many sewer lines per year. Our infrastructure planning grant, I've got $200,000 we've applied for purchase a new camera system. One thing that I've not talked about a month or so is the Justice Field project. That was going to be a new 12-inch line that was going to be installed in the Justice Field where we've had issues before. That project has been postponed. I don't think installing a new line and that, or a bigger line is going to fix the issue. The issues at the pump station. It's only a 600-gallon-a-minute pump, so it don't matter how big a line you've got in that system if you can only pump 600-gallon-a-minute out of it. So that's what we're going back and looking at now. What we can do in Justice Field is install like your leak-proof manholes in there. So that's one thing we're looking at. We'll move on that as quick as we possibly can.
So that's the lift station that they're redoing now?
No. This would be, I think this is number 1.
Number 2.
Number 2?
Yeah, it's on.
Number 2 pump station. That would be the one off of,
Is that the one on Midway?
Johnson.
Johnson Road.
On Johnson, right
Yeah.
there at the bridge.
Yes. Yeah. That's kind of been the bottleneck all along, is the 600 gallon pumps there. Sewer plant, all November reports were submitted on December 5th, no violations. Our new hire, Edward Ziegler over there, he's hired on October 16th. Everything's working out great with him. His 90-day probation period will be up January the 16th. That will bring him before council. Administration, your TBOUR meeting, this will be your other order, but you should have a copy of that. The two things that come out of that meeting, again, by December 31st, all board members must comply with the training requirements. One thing that's come up in the meantime is the online training on the comptroller's website. You can only take that one time. You cannot renew that training.
Yeah.
So I'm working on some other things for the people that still, lack 2 or 3 hours of continuing education training. So I'll have that taken care of. So the second part was within 45 days, which would be December 31st. Have a signed contract to conduct a study on the feasibility of a merger between OS and a surrounding utility. So they've actually removed Oak Ridge from the wording and just said surrounding utility. Now, that board is not going to force anybody to merge with anyone. They just require this study to be completed. I spoke with Larry Clowers at Anderson County Water Authority. They went through a merger back when they formed Anderson County Water Authority probably 10, 11 years ago. They've already got all the flow information, the rate information, so I guess the thing we're looking at now is getting out of this with, I wouldn't say the least amount of work possible, but going with somebody that's got the information available. So Anderson County Water Authority's got that. I'm going to start working with them. Leads me into Performance Services. That's a consulting firm we've been working with. Today, they presented their preliminary infrastructure improvement report, and we will have a signed contract complete for a feasibility study conducted by Performance Services by December 20th of this year. Now, how this is going to be conducted is GRW has been working on a hydraulic model of this system for the past 2 years. So basically, all of our work's completed anyway. Jackson Thornton's doing the rate study, which will be completed by December 31st. All we need somebody to do is put that information together, and that's what Performance Services is going to do. 2024 Infrastructure Planning Grant, the application was submitted November 16th, $105,000 to pay for a feasibility study, and $200,000 for the inspection camera system. ARC grant, submitting the application December the 8th, which would be tomorrow, and this project is for the replacement of galvanized and asbestos cement line out in the system. We're looking at replacing 800 foot, or installing 800 foot of 6-inch PVC pipe on Rome Street in front of First Baptist Church and Sharp's Funeral Home. 1,000 foot of 6-inch PVC on Green Street, Cox Circle, and Windrock Road. And then Smith Road, 8,500 foot of 6-inch PVC, installing 3 fire hydrants, which this will loop Smith Road from Airport Road all the way to Dutch Valley. Then the final part of that project will be 500 foot of 6-inch PVC on Fritch Road. And that is all I have at the moment. Any questions?
What is the definition of leak-proof manhole?
Sealed.
Sealed.
It's
Yeah,
a
that's
sealed.
evaluated sealed. Sealed with locking lids.
So it don't spew out?
Yeah, we're gonna push the lid up. Yeah.
Mr. Miller?
Have enough at this time, sir.
Mr. Brown?
I don't have anything at this time.
Ms. Van Hook?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Hall?
I'd like to ask Corey, like, say you're going down Midway Drive, and you're doing drops, would you have to run a main line? Then the one side would go to that meter, to get the other side, you would have to bore?
Yeah.
Yeah, each one, so.
Now, if there's an existing line there, we can pull a new line, run a cable through the old one, hook to the new line, just pull a new one through. Worst case scenario, you have to bore. I think our bores have been costing $1,500. How much?
About $700.
$700, and that's a pretty good price right there.
So no matter where we go, we're gonna do main line plus the drops on each side of the road.
Well, no, because, I mean, your past 12, 13 years, there's been a lot of main line replacements out in, it's just been kind of here and there. But there's been quite a bit of main line replacement. What we really need to concentrate on is getting the galvanized out of the system and then start on that asbestos cement. That'll be the next thing we start on.
That's all.
No old business, new business. Employee wage analysis.
I don't have anything other than the sheets I gave you, I guess it's probably a month ago. I'm putting together a pool of money that we'll be able to, I guess, just split between the employees. A month ago, that pool was about $13.20. Water losses went up, and that's probably below $10 right now. So the, $2 and $3 raises that we were looking at giving, it's probably back to about 80 cents, maybe up to $2 on some. The lower I get that water loss and the less water we buy from Anderson County, the higher that number's gonna go. But that's something that we're looking at doing within the next month, 2 months.
And speaking of wage analysis, you all probably don't know this, and it just oversight on my part, and I apologize to Corey for this. Corey worked multiple days at our water plant for free. And in conversation last week, I was talking to Corey about that, and he's like, yeah, I've been working for free. I said, excuse me? 72 hours. That number one, for somebody to work 72 hours and not say a word about it to his boss or anybody else says a lot. And number two, he's committed to his job, he's committed to this town and moving us forward. Number three, like Mike Hicks who came here, I feel like as the mayor, we need to make Corey whole for the 72 hours that he gave to the city. Because he's putting in 60, 70, 80 hours every week. The least we could do is this 72 hours, make sure that he's made whole, or 71 hours and 40 minutes. So 72 hours basically. So obviously if you all want to defer to the next meeting till January, just so I didn't catch you by surprise, you all can research, investigate yourself, ask him the questions, and then we can come back as a governing body and discuss it. I'm fine with that, but just know that I feel like nobody should work for free. And I appreciate everything that Corey has done, is doing, and will continue to do for this town. So you let me know how you want to proceed forward, and we will. And if we want to take it up in January, to give you all ample time to research this on your own, ask Corey any questions that you may have. I can give you the employee time sheets that he handed me just a minute ago, or a few minutes ago. I'm glad to give you that, and you can see. So.
Now, exactly why did Corey have to work the extra 71 hours?
Because we didn't have anyone to fill his spot, and which we just hired somebody yesterday, 2 days ago, to work at the water plant. He's a chief operator. Well, I say chief operator. He's an operator, or I don't know what. Alan.
He's a grade 4.
Grade 4 operator. Yeah. So like Jason Brum, Jason's been working a lot down at the water plant. So hopefully the hire of Alan will help alleviate the need for Corey and Jason to just continue to work 60, 80 hours every week. But yeah.
How about in our next packet?
Yes.
Present that information.
For sure.
For us to consider?
Yeah.
Would that be okay?
Is this money coming out of the water fund?
It would.
Do we have enough?
Oh, absolutely.
But you're saying you physically said at the water plant.
For 12 hours.
He works on Sundays, I've come by there.
That's what I mean, I'm trying to get the right picture.
Yeah,
So you
Yeah.
physically said it's not like you.
Yeah.
That's the reason I asked him to present the whole thing at
Yes.
the next meeting.
Yeah.
That would be good if you just give us all the details.
Absolutely. Okay. We'll do it. All right, meeting is adjourned. We'll, 7:20, we'll pick up